On December 2nd, 2015, officers from Montgomery County Police responded to Shady Grove Hospital in response to a child abuse call. When Officer Richard arrived, she learned that a 7-year-old boy had been brought into the hospital by her father and stepmother. The child had numerous bruises and cuts on his body, and his arms were swollen. The victim's father and stepmother admitted that they had wrapped the victim in plastic wrap and zip-tied him so he would not hurt himself. Due to the seriousness of the injuries of the victim, he was immediately flown to Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. That's not taken lightly. Like, when they decide to put somebody on a helicopter, it's not because they just have free helicopter rides used. It's because that person needs immediate life-saving care. After the victim was stabilized, he spoke to detectives. He disclosed that his father would wrap him in plastic wrap, starting in his neck, and would zip tie his arms behind his back so he could not move. He stated he was held in this position the entire day before Thanksgiving and on Thanksgiving Day until it was time for dinner. He stated that he was put in this position every night and during the day when his family was home, and some days he was not fed at all. This horrific practice had been ongoing for 7 months. Due to severe damage to the victim's arms and hands, he had gone through multiple surgeries while at Children's Hospital and was awaiting space at a rehabilitation center, which will end up being probably months, if not years, of rehabilitation. Almost immediately, Officer Richard became very involved in the victim's welfare. Beyond just taking the initial report and starting the investigation, she started to drive down to Children's Hospital on her own time to visit with the young man. These visits would brighten the victim's day, especially since he didn't have any family visiting him. They weren't allowed to. Officer Richard used her own money to buy the victim underclothes and other necessities. Additionally, she used her own money to buy him lunch and dinner several times. With Christmas coming around the corner, the victim disclosed to Officer Richard that he had never received a gift in his whole life. This really struck a chord with her, and she immediately sprang into action, rallying the troops to come to this little boy's aid. At this point in time, Officer Richard started contacting the other officers throughout the department and informed them of the situation. This is when the toys started to really pour in. Every day there were more and more toys. Officer Richard and other officers wrapped the toys for the victim, and she would drive them down on her own time to give them to the victim. Officer Richard posted pictures of the victim with all of his toys, and you could see a huge smile on his face. I think I remember when he was in a Batman, Spider-Man mask. He was enjoying himself. On Christmas Eve, officers drove down to Children's Hospital with a trunk load of toys. One of our sergeants, I believe Sergeant Ream, dressed up as Santa Claus, which is pretty cool. And the victim got to wake up and see Santa Claus and a lot of toys, something he'd never had in his life. It's hard to put into words everything that Officer Richard did. She really just rallied the troops, got personally tied into a story, and then rallied a lot of efforts from a lot of good cops to help this young man out. She still visits him on a regular basis and is trying to keep him as positive as possible. She rallied officers from several districts, as we said, and even though this young man is still in a lot of pain and has a long way to go, I know that he will never forget everything that Officer Richard has done for him. For her compassion and selflessness, Officer Richard is awarded the Meritorious Citation.